Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of One Smut, One Review. I don't know what that was. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I really appreciate it. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing a book that I finished several weeks ago, and I've just been procrastinating doing the review, which I know is a no-no because I've completely forgotten the plot of the book. So I have my little cheat sheet. A cheat sheet. What did I call this? My deet sheet. I got my deet sheet, y'all. With poor grammar and everything else. So hopefully between the blurb and my notes, I'll remember what this book was about. But we'll see. Okay. So the book that I'll be reviewing for you guys today is another Penelope Douglas novel. It's not Devil's Night, so calm down. Okay, calm down. This book is called Misconduct. I'll put it right there. And I read this book on my trusty Kindle Paperwhite. Thank you, Kindle. The book is a standalone contemporary romance novel. It has no dark matter whatsoever. There is like a little reference to like a stalker type situation, but it's like background noise. It doesn't really, there's no like in your face with it, right? So I don't think I would consider this a dark novel. According to Amazon, the print length for this book is 400 pages. I cannot confirm or deny that because I don't own the physical book. I will be buying the physical book, but it's not here now. So I just have to take Amazon's word for it. We know they're always accurate, right? Right? Okay. You can currently get this book for your Kindle or Nook for the price of $9.99. You can get the trade paperback, and this is weird because I wrote it down. So it must be significant and it must mean something. But for the life of me, I can't fucking remember what it is. So there are two different paperback prices on Amazon for the trade paperback for this. $13.99, and then the second one is $17.87. Both qualify for Prime, and they have different, it appears as if they have different covers. So maybe one is like a special edition cover or something, and that's the more pricey one. But you can currently get this for $13.99 trade paperback if you want. If you want the other cover, you can pick and choose whichever one you like. So go. I will read you guys the blurb, and then we will attempt to break it down. And we'll see how badly I mangle this, okay? The blurb for this one says, former tennis player Easton Bradbury is trying to be the best teacher she can be, trying to reach her board students, and trying to forget her past. What brought her to this stage in her life isn't important. She can't let it be. But now, one parent-teacher meeting may be her undoing. Meeting Tyler Merrick for the first time makes it easy for Easton to see why his son is having trouble in school. The man knows how to manage businesses and wealth, not a living, breathing teenage boy. Or a young teacher, for that matter, though he tries to. And yet, there is something about him that draws Easton in. A hint of vulnerability, a flash of attraction, a spark that might burn. Wanting him is taboo, needing him is undeniable, and his long-awaited touch will weaken Easton's resolve and reveal what should stay hidden. ... Okay, I didn't give it a rating. I don't know why I didn't do that. Probably because I was making notes, so I didn't know if the book was going to be good. Okay. This book is set in New Orleans, Louisiana, mostly, I think. If not exclusively, I'm pretty sure. So the two main characters for this book are Easton and Tyler. Easton is, she has a good bit of backstory to her, which I appreciated. It's nice to see why the character is the way that they are, or like what brought them to this point, and what molded their personalities, I guess you'd say. Easton used to be a pro tennis player. She was, I can't remember if she was up for the Olympic team or not, but she was definitely like well known. She was a well known tennis player. And she had a thing where her tennis coach was essentially like stalking her. He was obsessed with her, and he was like sexually attempting to sexually molest her. Her parents found out, and they basically brushed it under the rug. Easton comes from a very politically oriented family, very wealthy, very in the spotlight type family. So they didn't want to be embarrassed by the situation. So they basically fired the tennis coach and got rid of him. Easton did not know that he was still actively trying to get in touch with her. He sent a bunch of letters to the house that were intercepted by her parents, which they kept, which was weird. And eventually, the tennis coach ends up dying. Easton is now grown, but because of the issues and the mental strain that it put on her, she ended up giving up tennis. She had like a little flip out during a match, and she just walked off the court and never to return. So she's also developed what appears to be obsessive compulsive disorder. She is constantly, it's like her way of controlling her environment and what's going on around her. She essentially has to like check and make sure she turned off the oven 5 times, and she has to turn knobs a certain number of times. I can't remember if she does evens or odds, but it always everything has to be checked that many times. So she definitely has some form of OCD. After she meets Tyler and he kind of keeps her occupied, that situation takes kind of a back burner. So you see her mind being occupied by issues and things going on with Tyler, and less so on her OCD. So he kind of pulls that out of her. Tyler is a very rich, very wealthy businessman. He made the mistake of getting a girl pregnant when he was very, very young. They had the child, and he basically took a hands-off approach to the raising of the child. His son, Christian, is a teenager now. He's going to a very exclusive private school because he's staying with his dad for a year. His mom and his stepdad went to Egypt for a year, and Tyler did not want to hear about his son being that far away because he's now trying to put forth effort into being a parent. And so he basically came up to his ex-girlfriend and said, hey, let Christian stay with me for the year. You go off to Egypt, and I want to spend time with him. I want to get to know him. I want to whatever. He's not good at it. If that makes sense. Tyler is trying to campaign to run for Senate, and it takes up a lot of his time in addition to all of his regular business dealings and whatever. He's never home. So when he first starts having real interaction with Easton, it is like an enemies to lovers type situation. They initially meet at a masquerade ball that's being thrown for like some political reason. Easton's brother is trying to get into politics. I want to say he's like a law student or something, and he's finishing out his degree, and he's trying to get his way into the inner circles of the political scene in New Orleans. So she's accompanied him to this fundraiser or whatever it is. She's masked, obviously, so is everybody else. And she runs into Tyler, their little meet cute or whatever you want to call it, is on the balcony or the terrace of the building where this thing's being held. And they have an immediate attraction to each other. She's very snarky, sarcastic, witty, like that's her thing. So she basically gives him a good bit of like sass, if you will. And Tyler is a very controlling, very my way or the highway type guy. He's used to getting what he wants. And they have like a little interlude there. And then he gets called away and he's like, don't you dare leave. And she's like, okay, boy, whatever. And she walks in after she hears like them getting up to start talking at the podium. And when she walks in, she realizes who he is and that the fundraiser is, or the whatever, is in his benefit, in his honor. And he's the person at the podium accepting the accolades from the crowd. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm leaving. And she leaves. And from that point on, he doesn't know who she is. He doesn't know where to find her. Fast forward a year later. Easton has now transitioned into being a teacher. She was already like on her way to being a teacher, but now she's an official. This is her first year of teaching high school. So she is employed, hired by a very prestigious private school, which I think you can figure out where I'm going with this. A very prestigious private school where she is going to be teaching world history to a bunch of very bored, very overprivileged teenagers, one of which just happens to be Tyler's son. So now you insert the whole taboo type situation, because now she's sexually attracted to her pupil's dad. And when they have their first run-in with each other, she knows immediately who he is. He doesn't recognize her. He doesn't know at first. And then he's like, oh, yeah, it's you. I still have beef with you over this stuff you're doing in class with my son. I don't agree with it, so I'm gonna try and get you in trouble with the dean of the school and half-heartedly just put my foot down, and you're gonna do whatever I say. Change your whole lesson plan for me, because I don't believe my son should be on social media for school and blah 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 blah. And she gives as good as she gets, because she's essentially like, fuck you. This is what I'm doing. She is, the way she's portrayed is very progressive. She's a very progressive teacher. She has come up with lesson plans that are adapted to the current modern age of technology. So she has like a Facebook group for her class, and they do assignments that are very technology driven, very social media driven, very like she'll do like scavenger hunts for things on Instagram and things like that. And it requires all of her students to have a cell phone at the very least, maybe even a tablet or a laptop, to do their assignments, to participate in class. And Tyler's like, no, when my son's at home, I want him focused on real life studies and do his real work and do whatever. And this is just like a bogus class. And he tells her all of this, and it enrages her. And so they definitely start off the relationship as very hostile towards each other. Once he realizes that she's not going to back down, and he starts to see the merit of the work that she's doing with Christian, trying to pull him out of his shell, he starts to come around. And that's when their relationship really begins. Christian is your typical sulky, sullen teenager. He's he's important to the storyline, but he's kind of just there. He's not really, they don't focus in on him very much. It's mainly focus on, the book is mainly focused on the two main characters. And Easton's brother is another sideline character. Tyler has a brother who's like his campaign manager, who's in charge of all of his like social media and all of that. And in the beginning, Tyler doesn't have a very large social media presence because he doesn't believe that technology is, he sees it as technology is killing our brains and it's something that should not be embraced. And Easton is the complete opposite. And she starts to show him how his campaign can thrive by him being more present on social media. And he starts to come around for those things as well. The sex. I've come to realize that I'm very much into taboo relationships. Like age gap, if done well, if done properly, cough, birthday girl, cough. If done well, age gap is a thing for me. It's like a, yeah, okay. In addition, like the taboo relationship between a teacher and her pupil's father, very risque, very taboo, very no. I like that. The sex is very good as well. There's at one point there's like alley sex, like against the wall in a back alley type thing. And yum. So yeah, taboo relationships in general are kind of becoming a new thing for me. A whole new world. So yeah. So I definitely enjoyed that aspect of it. That's probably what drew me to the book to begin with, was the taboo relationship between teacher and parent. I also enjoy a good like professor-student type relationship, like that taboo. Yes. If you have any recommendations for books like that, drop them in the comments because so yeah. So as the book progresses, we start to see little hints that indicate that Easton starts to think that she's losing her mind. She, like I mentioned before, she has the OCD thing. So she knows where everything is in her apartment, where it should be, like so much so to like a 45-degree angle on the coffee table type situation. And she starts to notice things out of place. She starts to notice that her clothes in her closet have been pushed to a different side than they were when she left home. She starts to notice her TV left on. She starts to notice like all of these little things that most people would think, oh, I just fucked up and I must have left it on when and no. She's so OCD that she knows she didn't. And so she knows that something's not right. So she thinks that she's losing it. Like she's regressing back to the time with her tennis coach where she was always afraid of what's behind that door and what's like, and she's starting to regress back to that. She has a lot of trauma in her past. The whole issue with her tennis coach kind of set off a firestorm of events. She finally, when she realized after he was fired that he was still trying to get in contact with her and he was still writing her letters and he was still whatever, she got tired of being afraid and she went looking for him. And in that, when her parents realized that she had done that, they went looking for her because of course they were worried about her. And her parents and her sister were out looking for her, trying to find her, before something popped off between her and this guy. And they were in a horrific car accident and they all died. So her trauma is like stemming from like her attitude and her obsessive compulsiveness and her whatever, her personality is stemming from that trauma that she experienced. Her brother is her only surviving relative. And he has always been there for her. He's always encouraged her. He's always whatever. But there's also been a tiny bit of resentment on her brother's part, which comes more into play towards the end of the book. But she starts to think that she's losing her mind because she's noticing things out of place and things where they shouldn't be. And she realizes that she's not going crazy, that someone is fucking with her. And so there's like a little hint of like suspense to this book as well. So yeah, like it was a very good contemporary romance novel, and it even with the like hint of taboo, it wasn't anything crazy over the top that made it so unrealistically unbelievable that like, you know what I mean? Like Devil's Night, Penelope's Devil's Night series, a lot of borders and boundaries got pushed, and a lot of people who looked at the books in a negative light came at it from the angle of, oh, this was so unbelievable that it could never happen in real life, these things that happened. This book doesn't have any of that. Everything that happens in this book, you could totally see being a real thing. And so because of that, it kind of set this book apart for me, if that makes sense. It didn't have that hint of, like, it had a little crumb of the forbidden in it, but it all in all, it was just a very good enemies to lovers standalone contemporary, which is good. It's like for me, I read this directly after I finished Devil's Night because I was still jonesing for my Penelope Douglas fix, and this was almost like a palate cleanser. Like, it kind of purged me of like the events from Devil's Night and made it so that I could jump into some other kind of dark romance or some other kind of whatever. Worlds away from Devil's Night. I can't stress that enough. If you're looking for dark romance, this is not it. This is a taboo, enemies to lovers type contemporary romance. There's no darkness here. So essentially towards the end of the book, in terms of Tyler and Christian, their relationship does improve, but it improves because of Easton. He starts to let her in more, and he kind of uses her as his buffer between him and Christian to further their relationship or to get closer to him. He does come to the realization that he can't have everything. He's stretching himself too thin between his wanting to run for Senate and wanting to have a relationship with his son and needing to be at work, but he really should be home having dinner with his kid. And now he's in a relationship with Easton, and he's stretching himself too thin. And he's always been an overachiever, and so he sees him not being able to finish these things or excel at all of these things as some kind of failure. And Easton like explains to him that's not really the case. Like, you have to focus on one thing and do it 100% instead of giving 20% to all of these things or 10% to all of these things. And so there is an HEA to this book, so you don't have to worry about any kind of cliffhangers or anything. And I was wondering what would happen with the stalker situation, but that's also resolved at the end of the book, and in a way that almost was like, oh, okay, this is done. Like, it wasn't some long drawn out whatever. Like, Easton does get to the point towards the end of the book where she reaches like a mental break, and she has to purge herself of all of that anxiety and drama that she had carried over from her adolescent life into her adult life. She had kept the letters from her tennis coach. She had them locked up in a box, and she kind of kept them there as like a reminder of what she lost when her parents were killed, and et cetera, et cetera. And at some point, push comes to shove, and she ends up realizing she needs to get rid of all of that. So she burns the letters, and she purges herself, basically. But that, like I said, there is an HEA to this book. I did really enjoy it. For the rating for the book, I would give it a solid 9. It was a very good standalone contemporary romance novel. I like the way Penelope writes. I enjoy her writing style. I like the way that, not so much in this book, because there wasn't, like I said, it's worlds away from Devil's Night. But in Devil's Night, we saw like the flashback scenes. Like it would alternate between present day and like years ago. And in this one, it alludes to that, but it doesn't, for the most part, it does not do like jump backs to previous times. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? And so, like I said, it was very different. It was very different than what I was expecting and what I was used to by her. But it was good. It was like a good little, it was like a drink of water, and now I'm ready for something. I'm ready to get into another series and get into like something that's gonna grip my soul and suck my soul out of my body. So yeah. Like I said, for the rating for the book, I would give it a solid 9. I did really enjoy it. I will be buying it. And again, I like Penelope's writing style enough that I will continue. I think at this point, the only books I have not read is the Falling Away series, like Bully and those subsequent books, and that's next on my list in terms of Penelope Douglas. Right now I am currently delving into a few other dark romance. So yeah. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, if you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications when I upload a new video. I upload at least once a week. If you'd like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a members-only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter account devoted to this channel. I'll link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh my God, did I actually give a cohesive, somewhat coherent review? Did I? It's not right. Something's not right. Something's not right. That's it. I'm done. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I'll probably add some bloopers in there though. Because I was pretty like, yeah, I'm on it. No. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, I love you so much. Bye. Hello, my loves. Oh, you know what I just remembered? I think this is the lipstick I'm wearing right now. I think it's the one that got on my teeth that one time. Better fucking not. Okay. Hi. How are you? How are you? You good? You good? Okay. We're gonna get right into it because I don't. Oh God, it's been like a month since I read this, since I finished this book, and now I have to review it, and I don't remember anything about the plot whatsoever. So this is gonna be fun. Let's get into it, okay? Let's get a little sip of tea first. To wet my whistle. Okay. Weird. Okay. Okay. Fluff. Let's get some body going on up in this joint. There's no body. There's no. Okay. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of. I hate you. Okay, let's try this again. My nose is itchy. So their son. What the fuck is his name? I can't remember his name. Christian. Okay. Deflate. Deflating in 3, 2, 1. Tea. At least he waited till the end. Is he trained? Am I actually getting cooperation? No. I'm at once looking forward to the next one I'm recording and dreading it because it's going to be me reading 1-star reviews again. As I was reading them to find the ones that I wanted to pick out, I got so angry, just increasingly more. So, yeah. Goodbye, deep cheat. So satisfying. So satisfying. In the trash. Just you wait. Just you wait, baby. Okay. You done? You done? Okay, cool. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video because